Hi, I'm here to review the Andrew Huang Learn Monthly 30-Day class, where you learn to write 3 songs in 30 days. You also learn how to produce those songs. You do everything yourself, from composing from scratch to writing songs, refining them, mixing, mastering, all that fun stuff. To summarize the class as quick as I can, the 30 days went by fairly quickly. The 7 to 10 hours was more like 12 to 15. I had to spend more time writing and working on the songs after digesting the material. And because I work full time and do this as a hobby, I was spending most of my free time working on these songs. So it was a little stressful, but I'm still happy with how everything went. The suggestion I would make to the structure of the class is that I kind of wish there were a few extra days for the people who are very busy to keep up, or for the people who are keeping up with the class to maybe take a break from the songs so you don't get either too stressed out, or you can get some time away from the song to come back and then try some fresh ideas. I'm pretty happy with how all of my songs came out. After getting through each segment of the course, I realized that there are things that I could go back and fix afterwards, which is always a good sign. I'm growing and I'm learning. So I would say it's a very positive experience, a little stressful, but definitely worth it. I'd consider myself quite a noob when it comes to mastering, mixing, and stuff like that. I've written some songs and I've done some recording. Most of it is not released, because I find myself being one of those artists that always wants to keep tweaking things a little bit here and there, and then the song never gets done. So it was one of the reasons I took this class, kind of a nice kick to try and motivate me to do other stuff and learn some new things. So the course is broken down into 3 sections. The first section is writing a song. So is the second, and so is the third. The first section is a bit longer than the other 2 because there's more material you need to learn. I felt that the class was structured pretty well. However, I will say that it is a lot of work. In the overview video, it's about 7 to 10 hours a week. I would say you need more than that. On certain weeks, I spent maybe twice as much time on a very heavy week. I'm a full-grown adult, or at least I pretend to be. I have a job where I work. I go to the gym a couple of times a week. I try and do some socializing to stay sane. So trying to spend the hour or so of free time I get on most of my days working on this was challenging. Found myself kind of stressing out a bit, not having time to kind of relax. That's one of the things that I will say about the 30-day structure is it's made so that the month went by really fast, but it was kind of stressful. My constructive criticism for that would be, it's a 30-day class structure, but maybe add an extra 5 days for people who need to take a break, to step away from the song, who don't have more time to step away, or for the people who are very busy, people who just need to take a break, or the people that need to catch up on the songs. The first song, I think I submitted my final mix like 4 or 5 days late because I just could not find the time to get it done. Especially if you run into writer's block, it is difficult. I get the fast-paced nature is to try and get you to push through and write something. It's probably not going to be the best thing you've ever written, but it's something, and I ended up being pretty happy with the 3 songs that I wrote. The class is structured with a peer group of about 20 people, and then Andrew would kind of come in and post on some tracks. I found myself, because I was so busy, there wasn't really a whole lot of time after things got going, because it started a little slow and then kind of really sped up, that I didn't really have time to connect with my peers as much. I was just trying to do enough to keep up with the class, and I found a lot of my peers were like that too after I would post things. So that kind of helped validate me not being so stressed out after the fact, because other people were going through it too. The first song was kind of writing an electronic piece. The second song was sampling stuff around your house, and the third song was trying to incorporate live instruments. So you learn different things with each track, but you're able to incorporate what you've learned in previous tracks into the next one. The videos really helped trying to narrow down what you need to do in order to get started and give yourself a direction to go in, and that made it a lot easier to write, or else it might have taken forever. In like the middle part of the class, we're usually about an hour or so watching Andrew with his process and stuff, which is really good to follow along with. I found following along with the videos was the best way for me to learn, but that also means that I go through them way slower, and that 7 to 10 hours a week, sometimes 7 hours of it is watching videos, which means that you still have to find time to work on your own music. And I feel like I learned a lot about writing, about especially the last song was about doing something acoustic with vocals and lyrics, and that was My biggest problem is writing vocal melodies and lyrics, and I had a lot of writer's block for that. And what I eventually came out with, I wish I could have explored more and ran out of time, but with what I came up with, I was actually pretty happy with it. I wish that the 30 days was kind of structured into more like 35 or 38 with a couple of like days off here or there so that people could catch up, or you could take an extended amount of time away from your song to think about it and where the direction's going and kind of think of new ideas. You didn't really have a day, or by the time you realized you needed a day, you were already behind. So trying to keep up with the rest of the peers in your group was difficult. The peer groups were a good idea. So when you submit parts of songs or submit the full songs, you have a couple of people who will say, a couple of things you did well, something you need to potentially work on, or other ideas for where you could go with the song. And that was very useful. There were a couple of directions or things that I didn't even think of that were very useful for me fixing something on my mixes or different parts that I could write, or some transitions or whatnot. So that was really useful because, Andrew can't be in hundreds of places at once. This is the kind of a good medium. And I don't know if it would be helpful to have other producers who maybe even the loadout with Andrew, having some more people involved to give some extra feedback. I think like most of the people who are taking the class are like me. They're just, somebody who does music as a hobby on the side. It's good to kind of get that grounding, but at the same time, it would be also nice to get some more opinions from people who have gone through this before. By the time the class was over, like I said, I'm very happy with the 3 songs I made. I do want to go back through and fix some things after the fact because you have more time to think about the songs you made and digest them. So to keep this video short, I will say the biggest summaries for this were that the 30 days went by very quickly because I've spent most of my free time working on the songs. I work and do this as a hobby on the side. So apart from watching the videos, I had to spend more time working on the songs. So I will say that it's probably closer to 12 to 15 hours a week than the 7 to 10. And I kind of wish that the 30 days was closer to 35, 38. So you can get some time away from the songs and really digest them or spend some time catching up. Because for the people who are working full time, it's tough to keep up with this. And if you have things going on weekdays or weekends, you have something going on outside of work, it can be a little stressful to keep up with the videos, but it was worth it in the end of it. So I would do it again. And yeah, that's all I got to say. It was a lot of fun. Ugh.